There's no reason to be driving like that.
This is all that's left of a car that was being chased by state police. Troopers say at more than 100 miles an hour. We'll tell you about that chase before this crash.
A deadly shooting in Steelton over the weekend leaves one dead. We saw security camera footage of the moments that it all happened, of people running away after the shots rang out.
Gettysburg Borough Council is choosing a new mayor tonight. We'll hear from some of the candidates about why they decided to throw their hats in the ring.
Hiking Pennsylvania's minimum wage. Why some say $15 an hour is a good solution.
A call claiming to be from the sheriff's office. It's threatening and it's scary, but it's also a scam. I'll tell you how another person, though, lost thousands.
WGAL News 8 at 6 starts now.
Happening right now, the men and women who want to be Gettysburg's next mayor are making their case to Borough Council. And an arrest after a police chase with speeds reaching more than 100 miles per hour ends in a crash.
And this is video of the chase, which happened yesterday evening in Lancaster County. And this is how the chase ended. The car and two other vehicles crashed.
The crash took until today to clean up. Good evening, I'm Jerry Gish.
And I'm Lori Burkholder. News 8's Meredith Jorgensen joins us live from East Lampeter Township with more on those details of the chase and the arrest. Meredith?
Jerry and Lori, take a look at this car. State police say 19-year-old Jesus Juarez was sitting in the driver's seat of this Infiniti when it stopped traveling more than 100 miles an hour and crashed into the front of a tractor trailer. Police say it was his 15-year-old brother who was sitting here in the passenger seat. Witnesses who saw the whole thing happen say they can't believe everyone made it out alive. With a quick burst of a horn, parts of the truck left Lincoln Highway 18 hours after the crash.
So the truck was completely on its side, blocking the entirety of the road.
I heard the sirens first of the cop car. I decided to look out the window, and that's when I saw the gray car coming up under the bridge.
It was the sound and speed of this Infiniti that started the chain of events that ended here.
So the truck was coming east down Lincoln Highway. The car came off Vintage Road and took out the front of the truck. It tore the front axle completely out.
It was kind of scary. You heard a boom, and then you saw the tractor trailer kind of like wobble a little bit, and then he rolled and then just slid, and that's when he ran into the other car.
All the vehicles burst into flames and neighbors ran to help. It all started here, 2 miles away, where a state police trooper says he sat along Route 741 outside Strasburg looking for speeders. When the Infiniti passed, the trooper followed, reaching speeds up to 120 miles per hour. Following onto Vintage Road, where surveillance cameras at a business caught the chase. You can see sparks as the Infiniti bottoms out. Seconds later, this was the scene.
My first thought was, is everybody okay? As soon as the impact had hit.
There were injuries, but everyone survived and everyone was extremely lucky.
It was scary. I've never seen anything like that.
So that witness, Katrina, told me she saw troopers with guns drawn pointed towards this car when Juarez was in it after the crash. He's in custody charged with aggravated assault by vehicle, reckless endangerment, and fleeing from an officer, among other charges. He told troopers he likes to drive fast just to blow off some steam. State troopers say there was a second Infiniti also speeding along with this one, but they said they lost track of that one when the pursuit of this car took place. That's the latest here in Lancaster County. I'm Meredith Jorgensen, WGAL News 8.
Meredith, thank you. Just released Silver Spring Township police in Cumberland County now say 2 people died in a domestic violence murder-suicide over the weekend. Police say 63-year-old Robin Whitcomb died of a gunshot wound, and her death is a homicide. 69-year-old Scott Whitcomb also died of a gunshot wound. His death has been ruled a suicide. Police found them Saturday morning at a home on Sorby Lane in Mechanicsburg.
Security video of people running moments after a deadly shooting in Steelton, Dauphin County. News 8's AJ Sisson joins us live outside where the shooting happened, the Paradise Palace. AJ.
Jerry, as Mayor Sierra Dent referred to it in her emergency proclamation, it is the Paradise Palace within the Palace Event Center, which is now shut down due to that fatal shooting yesterday morning, leaving nearby people concerned.
It's so sad that, in such a nice little town here, this kind of thing is happening.
Alfredo Santos lives 10 minutes from the Paradise Palace in the Palace Event Center.
shouldn't happen. Nothing like this here.
A Sunday morning shooting left 26-year-old Aaron Anderson Jr. dead and 3 others injured at the After Hours nightclub. Security camera footage from the neighboring Steelton Community Cats organization shows crowds of people running away, police arriving with guns drawn, and EMS helping the wounded.
The fear on the people that were running out of the building.
Rosemary Loncar is the director of the cat organization since 2010.
Usually the people around here look out for each other, but I've never really felt worried about my safety until basically this, because it happened next door.
Hours after the shooting, Steelton Mayor Sierra Dent halted operations at the Paradise Palace in an emergency proclamation, deeming the property a nuisance and a public safety hazard. This, the second Steelton nightclub in the last year to be shut down by the mayor, the first, the Soul Lounge, a block away.
Okay, councils has TVs, they seen everything that's happening. They should get on their high heels here and start saying what's going on in town, and let's start doing something about it.
Former Mayor Thomas Acri says the black drapes from the windows inside causes him concern, and council should look deeper into businesses within Steelton. Councilmember Vanessa Jenkins says the borough's codes committee is looking at that with new ordinances for annual oversight, but doing so without limiting business in Steelton. There is a borough council meeting tonight in approximately 30 minutes, which Mayor Sierra Dent took to Facebook to encourage residents here in the area to come by and voice their opinions, being respectful to those within the council meeting. And just moments before we came live here, the owner of the business said that he is going to be there and he has some things to say. We do plan to have a crew there with coverage tonight at 10 and 11. In Steelton Borough, AJ Sisson, WGAL News 8.
AJ, thank you. And in Steelton this morning, there was a multi-vehicle crash on Front Street, sending several people to the hospital. Both vehicles had a lot of damage. Fire police on the scene told News 8 this is being treated as a crime scene. Part of Front Street was closed through the morning rush hour.
Harrisburg police arrested a man wanted for attempted homicide. Police say 26-year-old Jeremy Marshall attacked a bouncer at a downtown business. Police say Marshall was kicked out of the business and had made threatening comments towards the staff. They say he later returned to that business and stabbed the victim in the neck. No word on that victim's condition. A Harrisburg woman is charged with aggravated assault after investigators say she beat and threatened children with a belt and firearms. 31-year-old Maria Roach of Harrisburg is charged with aggravated assault and endangering the welfare of children. According to court documents, a witness described an incident where Roach intended to shoot one of the children in the head, but missed and hit the wall. 41-year-old William Witherspoon, also of Harrisburg, is charged with endangering the welfare of children because police say he watched as Roach hit the children with a belt.